All right, go ahead,
Oh,
Scott.
Okay, I read some of the books from the Absolute DC Absolute universe, being Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman, and Absolute Superman. And it's just kind of like the first trade sections of them. I think it's what 1 through 6 of Batman, and
I think it's one
I
through
think
six for all of them. I think Wonder Woman is 1 through 7.
yes, Wonder Woman was the one that had a little bit more.
Just had to do so.
Believe it or not, I kind of enjoyed them all. I was
Yeah,
really
why
surprised. I
wouldn't
mean,
you?
from like a little reboot type of scenario,
They're
the
not
the
bad
writing's pretty
comics.
solid, and it seems like it's that pretty good take on kind of like a alternate universe thing. I don't know how far along they can take them and everything, but
as
definitely,
long as they keep cashing
you're
checks,
right. You're
dude,
right.
selling books, they're gonna do it.
I'm sure. Probably the weakest out of the three was Superman, just because I think that narrative style of trying to flip back and forth between Krypton and Earth. I, I,
I
I,
do think they spent too much time on Krypton in that book.
I do, and I felt like the jumps back and forth were fairly jarring. I mean, it didn't make much sense sometimes.
Well, it really slowed down like the first 3 issues because like nothing's really happening because you keep flipping back to Krypton.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. But I just felt like there was like maybe some cases where there was like a page, on Earth, and then all of a sudden you did 3 pages on Krypton, or
Yeah,
even vice versa sometimes. And it was
that's
like it just didn't seem sometimes that jumps made a whole lot of sense to me, when they did it. I think I would have, but the two stories kind of by themselves, I do kind of interest me. It just I felt like maybe he should have just had like a issue or two where he did like, well, let's flash back to what happened to Hell and Krypton, and make it a more of a complete thing than
uh,
to jump back and forth. But
yeah.
I don't know how that would have necessarily
People
worked
would have
either.
complained that hey, it's a
Yeah,
whole issue of flashback, second issue into the
you're exactly
series.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So if
depending
you're
on
gonna
where it
do
is.
it, you have to split it up.
So
But yeah,
it just seemed like the splits were a little weird. So, but the idea, it could be pretty good. That one has some potential. I feel like depending on how they want to go with it.
in my review, I said it really wasn't that different. But then someone complained that then I listed all the differences. I'm like, okay.
I felt like there was a fair amount of differences. I mean, at the end of the day, Superman. He's coming from that. He gets his power from a planet. From the yellow sun. Whatever the hell else. But there's a decent amount of things that are different there, where he's not as beholden to say the U.S. and there's really not much that the freaking Kents did with him. And you have no flipping clue. Truly how many people really did survive from Krypton on some of that. The whole Brainiac thing is a little wild that's going on too. So I don't know. I feel like there's enough differences there that it was making Superman. It's intrigued me about Superman.
Gotcha.
So I think that that one to me almost had the most potential. Wonder Woman, I thought was solidly written here again. I thought it was a nice introduction for her, especially against some freaking demon from hell or whatever the hell else that was going on. I kind of like the idea of her being raised by Cersei and kind of learn this witchcraft. Here again, something that may have some potential. I fear a little bit more with Wonder Woman that it's like, what more the hell are you going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, are you just going to now have a big battle against hell? I don't know. And against the gods, maybe I guess there's that potential because the gods sent her to hell in the first place. So maybe there's something there, but it just seemed to me that I just don't know where they can. I'm sure they can come up with some ideas, and whatever else. But it did seem like it could be a monster of the week type of thing there, or something
Gotcha.
weird that's going on. Batman, I liked it a lot. It was probably my favorite out of the three. But I
Hey,
think
that's why it sells a
I know
bajillion copies.
it. Yeah, I understand, and it was like your least favorite. I think
I would not say that. No,
really.
Superman was
Okay.
my least favorite.
Oh, okay.
What did you
Superman
say?
was
That one was probably my
Batman.
favorite,
Yeah,
just
but
for the
Yeah,
art.
what did you say sells the million copies?
Batman.
Batman.
Yeah, but what did? It's fine.
Yeah.
Never mind what I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay.
Ignore me.
But yeah, I mean the Batman one is definitely yeah. I feel like it's the most entertaining. I can't say it was the best written, from like
Definitely
even
not.
a narrative type of style or anything, and there's some definitely let's leave your brain at the door, type of thing and
Absolutely.
just enjoy the craziness that's going on. But it's entertaining craziness.
Do you agree with Don's that it's just Batman and Superman, or as Punisher? I mean,
Batman, no, I would not agree with that. I feel like it's more of a Batman as the Dark Knight at a younger age,
okay.
in some respects.
I feel like it owes a lot to Dark Knight Returns.
Oh, it absolutely does. a lot of the imagery and everything else I feel like is there. Freaking Dragota's art in that is just so freaking over the top insane. It
Yeah.
really makes it cool as well. The imagery that he's throwing in there. But yeah, I like this idea of him, being friends with a lot of the
Well,
people
you
that are
did
going to
like
be.
that. Even when I talked about it, you thought that was a cool idea.
Yeah, I did. I did. Unfortunately, I read a little synopsis though of what happens in the next trade because it did interest me the most, and it's like, okay, they're not gonna. Yeah, they kind of go off there a little bit. It doesn't last very long. I wanted to see a little bit, have this go a little bit longer. Where he's friends with them or something like that.
Oh no,
But but yeah,
They start turning
they
bad.
start turning bad real
real
quick.
fast.
Yep, yeah, they do.
One after the other.
Yeah,
Yeah, you get a
exactly.
villain each arc, right?
Yeah,
Each part.
yeah,
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 absolutely.
exactly. So that was a little disappointing there because I did kind of like that setup, or that idea, with what they were doing here.
That's the thing. I mean, obviously, I haven't read past the first volume, but I feel like it's an interesting idea, but then they just take it down a very like tropey, obvious, follow the
Absolutely.
number path.
Yeah,
It's like if you want to do something really unique, do something unique. It's just like the same, but a little bit different, a little edgier, a
yeah.
little, more
Well,
violent,
they took something which I thought was the most unique part of this idea.
and they just turn into a villain of the arc.
Yes, exactly. And so you didn't
Well, because
really.
everybody's like, well, I want to see the absolute Riddler. I want to see the absolute Catwoman. I
I
want to see the
know.
absolute
But did
Penguin.
you need to like right away, freaking 7 issues in or whatever the hell else?
You did, Scott. You know why?
It sells books.
Because that's what the people
I
want.
know
I
it's what they
know.
want, and we're not patient.
No.
So, we got to have things repeated to us 5 times because we're all on our phones anyway.
That's
So,
true. I read my phone the whole time I was reading that book.
yeah, yeah. But I don't know. I felt like the Absolute Batman is very entertaining. I thought it was a good
It's
job to really pull somebody in.
it's fun comic.
It is.
I think it's
It
great
is.
for bringing in new readers.
Yeah.
But someone who's been reading Batman comics for 40 years, it's not as edgy and original to me. But it's still fun.
So wait till the cartoon comes out.
I can't
Yeah.
wait.
See, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, maybe that's it. You might be right that it's not as original, but it's taking. I feel like went a little bit to when we read what's the Spider-Man one where
Ultimate Spider-Man.
is that the one where he's like in that other universe
Yeah.
where he's got the kids and everything.
Sure.
I feel like that a little bit here with this Batman.
Oh, yeah,
In
100%.
which it's original enough where you're throwing these characters that into different situations and to give you that nostalgia thing and put them in different scenarios that you're curious as well as paying some respects to the stuff that came before.
Yeah.
So I do see your point of it not being hugely original, but at this point in time, after 40 years, where the hell else can you sometimes take the character? So you want to do things where you can kind of, show what happened in the past, put them in some different scenarios, which I think that they're doing here.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. If you're still trying to milk the same character after, 100 years, yeah, it starts to get hard. I agree. Look at a solution to that. Make new shit.
Well, that's true. Why reboot Batman for the umpteenth time? Yes, I guess there's that.
So
But Batman sells. So
It does
So-
sell.
the Absolute Batman #1, the cover.
Uh-huh.
It's been like just homaged,
Oh, yeah.
copied and
Sure.
homaged and homaged and homaged. The Nick Dragotta did a book. I can't remember what it's called. It was called like Good Things or
Okay. Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
The book that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So they did another printing
Yeah.
because now he's more
He's more
popular.
popular,
Right.
yeah.
So they did another printing.
I bought that book.
And he did an homage to the Absolute Batman
Yeah.
cover.
And it sold like,
And well, no,
Crazy.
it hasn't come out yet.
Oh.
But the funny thing is, down in the corner, it says Nick Dragotta after everyone else after Nick Dragotta. So it's like an homage of the homages of the original. I just thought that was hilarious when I saw that.
yeah.
But
I am honestly glad to see Dragotta is getting,
Yeah. Dragotta is amazing and he kills it on that book.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
He is, for me,
The only-
the redeeming quality.
the only issue I have
I'll
with that
see
book
him on the story a
also
little
is that he doesn't do it. Isn't there like three
Yeah, you
different-
said that every time.
Yeah.
I know.
I want him
He
to
has a
do
lot of villains.
all of
He
it.
does
There's a
have
lot of
fillings.
villains.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and not just because I want Dragotta, but I also feel like even when I read those first issues, it took me out of it a little bit
Yeah.
because it's
It is a little jarring because he
different
is
and so
so
jarring.
well, and he is so stylized with what he's doing with
They're
this
getting
book.
great artists to fill in,
Sure.
but it's like, man, come on, like let's get a little bit of.
But he does the creepy factor so well. Holy crap! With the styles there that he's done with at least the characters in there so far, it's just it definitely pulls you in.
Okay.
Are we done?